Hello, everyone. I just want to make another short video, as I say. Sometimes they end up being not so short, but I don't have a whole lot of time right now because my new employee, which is my cousin's wife, has called in. I thought I had all Sunday off work today, and now I might have to go in. So I want to make a video before I go. I wrote down a couple of notes the other day. I need to get in order, and focus on one thing at a time. Because when you've been filled up with it, it's just so hard to know how to begin to give. I have so many things I want to say, but I know it'll be easier because in telling you, this is the first time I've ever began to get these things out of me. And as I say, they've been stored up for a long time. It's like I ate the knowledge. And I heard the word. But I had to, it was a process of time and experience. And as I said, I always knew I would understand what it was all about one day. And now the understanding, I have much understanding in me. And there's sometimes when an understanding just comes, and when a scripture is unlocked. And when that scripture is unlocked, it's an aha moment. It's like you now see so clearly what is meant. And it's all done in an instant. The understanding comes. And then that unlocks this scripture, and everything makes sense. Where before nothing could make sense. Even though I heard the word, and I understood the essence behind the word, the spirit behind the word. But I had to go through the process to be cleansed and be renewed. And it's still a process I'm in. I still have much to learn. And my battery's going down. Let me find my charger. I'll be right back. Okay. Where was I at? The process of experience. But I wrote some notes. Why do people believe the things they do? As Jesus said, say this thing of thyself, or did others tell it thee of me? That's what happened with me. But I think that even as a child, I knew the scriptures. Before I went through the confusion of the church and them showing me a God that I never knew. That's why it was so contrary, because what I had always known of God and Jesus, when I went to the church, they told me things that was contrary, and it did not make any sense to me. It was alien to me. But, I knew nothing. It's so hard to explain. And I have not really gone back into the deep recesses of my mind and heart to remember exactly how I felt and the thoughts that went through my head when they were shoving these things down my throat. But they put the fear in you and show you a God you don't know. And tell you this is God, and all you can do is believe all these people, because this is what all these people, they must be right? It's so hard to explain. So then, I remember after they had put these things in me, I no longer had that connection with Jesus. I didn't know him anymore. Because this, what they're telling me, is supposed to fit with what I knew in my heart, and it never fit. See, it's funny when you look now from where I understand, to know what happened to me, to know the process, and not only to me, to many people. So you begin to accept these things and say these things, and preach these things even, You're preaching what you've been told. And what they're telling you, you can never open the book for yourself because you can't understand it. Because you already are in confusion from what's being told to you. It goes against everything that in your heart and mind that you know of God. So the book's just going to cause more confusion because you're trying to make their doctrine fit. And they point out scripture to show you where they're right. And that's where most people are today. They say, and actually the best way I've ever heard it spoken is they vomit out what man has told to them. They've never looked for theirself. They've never read it for theirself. They've never went to God and asked theirself. They just continue to say what man has told to them. And they never come to understand and to know the true Father, the true God, the true Christ. So that's why I'm asking you today, why do you say and believe the things that you do and that you profess in His name? Who told you the things that you profess in His name? See, because when you have that, I just lost my thought. I do that a lot. 1 second. Okay. And this is why you can't understand the Bible. Because you have these preset ideas and what man has told you in your mind. You already have this confusion in your mind. And also the fears that's there. That even to read it, you have this in your mind. You can't connect with. It's so hard to explain. It shouldn't be hard to explain. Maybe this isn't the best time for me to make the video. But because those who just say what they've been told to say and have never looked for these themselves, how do you know that what you are saying is true? And when you do put off and finally go to God and put off what man and ask Him to show you, then go to the book and let it and read it and let it interpret itself. It speaks clearly. Let's read some more notes. It's so hard to explain right now. I hope I will do a better video on it. Like I said, I don't have much time right now. And there's another one. Why do you listen to the majority when it has been written, few there be that find the way? And you're just going to follow after them. Obviously, the blind lead the blind. And only few who can see will turn to the way. So stop following the majority. Follow Christ and His way. Get to know Christ. Get to know the Father. A true heart that will seek Him, and only a true heart that will seek Him will find Him. You have listened to man. This is why the Bible is confusion to most people. They have what man told them in their mind and in their heart. And when they read His word for themselves, it contradicts what they have been told, what has been told to them. That's the confusion. Why there's confusion is when man has told you and you go to read the Bible, and there's contradiction of what man's told you. But you try to make that scripture fit with what man has told you, instead of understanding that man has told you lies, and then the Bible has the truth. And I want to say something about that also, because there is a few who have, and I've had every thought that any of you could have. I've been there. But there's a few who shun the Bible altogether. They are calling it the Antichrist. I know the truth is in there. And when you come to understand, you will rightly divide the truth. And put away, a lot of things have just been falsely interpreted. The scripture is true, but it's just been falsely interpreted. It is only one who has a true heart and has been given the Spirit that will be able to understand what is in the Scripture. Through the doctrines of man, those who have that they've been led to confusion. The doctrines of man has taken those who have been given the Spirit, as myself. And it has caused us confusion because it does not. I don't know how to say things. Forgive me. Yes, instead of hearing what the scripture says, they continue to hold on with the understanding man has given them. You have to put it away. You have to go with an open and true heart, desiring to know the truth, no matter what the cost. You have to be brave to do it. A weak person cannot do it. A coward will not go looking for the truth. They will stay in their comfort zone. But see, God has called some of us to do that. Children who would not believe a lie. Certainly these are His children. Read the Bible, putting aside man's doctrines, and learn his ways and truths from His word. You must put off all preset images and doctrines of man, made by man. That was just a couple notes that I had written here. So what is the bottom line of what I've said? The confusion is the doctrine of man, which I've told you in the previous video that if their doctrine was true, then there wouldn't be so many denominations of it. You wouldn't have the Lutheran, the Catholic, the Baptist, the Methodist. If their doctrine was true and wholly true, you would not have a split. And only those who truly go to God and desire in a true heart, they will know whether the doctrine is true. They will be able to rightly divide, because only those who have the Spirit can hear what the Spirit says. I know there's so much more to say. I know there's so many people struggling the same as I have. And there's people that's coming to understand just as I am. But it says the truth shall set you free. And that's free from the lies of man. That's free from the darkness. That's free from the bondage of this world that you cannot go to God, that you cannot know God. They have set up false images and false doctrines. You know who you are, who has a heart that's true for God. Those who have that heart will hear me, and others like myself. And then those who don't have that heart and that spirit, they will continue in their blasphemy and dark sayings. I know this isn't the greatest video. I say that about every one of them. I hope I've made some sense, and I've said that in them too. Like I said, I don't have a lot of time right now. I'm going to try to prove some things by the scripture soon, and I'm going to try to stay on course. What I think is, the most important, like what I just said. I want to get into a bigger discussion of why you believed what you believe, and who did you learn it from. I want to go in to look into why was Christ sent to us. I have many more things to say. I'm going to tell you experiences too. See, I kind of thought I wanted to tell you my story from the beginning and walk you through it, through what I've been through and things that's been given to me over the years that kept me going. I mean, I've always known that I was being protected and saved for His purpose, even through times when my faith was so small, where I didn't understand anymore, and I just doubted everything that I've known in my life. But I was given certain things that would keep me going, certain proofs in my life. How many times I've been kept alive. All things work out for good to those who love God. When I called out for God, when I loved Him as a child, and when I called out for Him in the confusion, He answered me, and He will not forsake me. He will not forsake none who will seek Him. Man has lied and kept you from knowing that. They've kept you from going to the Father, to God with a true heart. But all those who are His will come to understand. He won't lose none of His. It wasn't only the 12 disciples that He wouldn't lose. He will lose none that is given to Him. All that is of the Father will return to the Father. That's all I'll say for now. I know I'll try to do better. For now, be well, be at peace. Go with God and seek after God, seek after truth. Do not fear man and their doctrines. A true heart, He will answer. Be well. Bye for now. God bless.